Hey, did you know that your eyes are like totally awesome? I mean, they're kind of scary too, if you think about it. Your eyes can detect danger like a speeding car or an angry bear. They can also detect rainbows, which is super cool. But how do they do that? Hi, I'm here with Minute Earth. Let's start at the beginning. When sunlight hits an object, some's reflected back into your eyes. But an object doesn't reflect all colors equally. A red apple reflects mostly red light, and a green leaf reflects mostly green light. That's why we see them as red and green. But what's actually happening inside your eyes to translate reflected light into a color? We have these things called cones that are located in the back of your eye, kind of where your eye muscles are. There are 3 kinds of cones, and each one is tuned to detect one of 3 colors: red, green, or blue. It's just that they don't actually see those colors. They see different wavelengths of light, but we'll get to that in a minute. Each cone has a special photopigment that reacts when it gets a hit of light. These pigments are like little molecular flags that are totally chill until they absorb a photon, a tiny packet of light energy. Once a photon hits a pigment, it changes shape. And when it does, it kicks off a whole signaling cascade that tells your brain, hey, I just saw something. Your brain then interprets this signal as a specific color. Okay, but why do you see a red apple as red instead of, say, bluish green? Well, that's because when a red apple reflects mostly red light, that wavelength of light is more likely to hit and activate the red cones in your eye. The green and blue cones don't get activated much, so they don't send many signals to your brain. And guess what? Your brain interprets this as the color red. If the apple were to reflect mostly green light, the green cones would be activated, and your brain would interpret that as green, and so on. But why do you see a yellow banana as yellow instead of bluish green? Bananas reflect mostly yellow light, but yellow isn't one of the 3 colors your cones can detect. To understand what's going on, let's go back to that apple example. Remember how we said that each type of cone sees a different wavelength of light? Well, it turns out that the wavelengths of light that our 3 types of cones can see, red, green, and blue, aren't the only wavelengths out there. There's also yellow, cyan, and magenta. And here's the really weird part. Your eye's cones don't actually see color. They see brightness. So when a banana reflects mostly yellow light, the red and green cones don't get activated much, but the blue cones do. At the same time, the yellow light also activates the neighboring cells in your retina, called the rods, which detect brightness. So when your brain receives signals from the blue cones and the rods, it interprets that as yellow. Similar logic applies for cyan and magenta. So your eyes don't actually see color. They see brightness. It's your brain that interprets the signals from your eyes as different colors. But wait, there's more. You see, most objects don't reflect just one color of light. A juicy red apple reflects mostly red light, but also a little bit of blue and green light. And the signals from the blue and green cones get sent to your brain. Your brain interprets these signals as a mix of colors, which is why apples look a little brownish red instead of just red. This is also why you need both rods and cones to see an object's color accurately. The rods tell your brain how bright the reflected light is. This helps your brain subtract the brightness from the signals sent by the cones, giving you a more accurate interpretation of the object's color. Without the rods, everything would look washed out. To sum it all up, you have 3 types of cones in your eyes that detect brightness. Each cone type has a slightly different photopigment that absorbs a different wavelength of visible light, red, green, or blue. And your brain interprets the combination of signals from these 3 cones as one of 6 colors: red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, or magenta. And when those colors get mixed together in different combinations, you see all the colors of the rainbow. So remember, your eyes are like totally awesome rainbow detectors. Just do you and think about what might happen if someone took them out and put them in a jar.